119,000 people waiting for a life-saving organ transplant right now.
Can you believe 22 people die each day because they didn't get an organ in time?
And you can help change that by supporting the Donor Dash. So we have two families with us this morning to talk about how organ donation changed their lives. We want to welcome the Pratt family and also the Grugan family. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for having us here. So first we want to start with you, Joe, because you are a recipient, right?
Yes, I am.
You received two lungs. You had a double lung
transplant.
And so what was your condition?
I couldn't walk 10 steps without having to sit down, take a break, and move on. Really, I had no quality of life. My wife became my caregiver, along with my youngest daughter. So the only thing I could do is to improve my life is to try to get on the transplant list and wind up getting an organ transplant.
Joe, you were in and out of the hospital. I know you were on oxygen 24 hours a day. When the doctor walks in and says, Joe, you're going to need a lung transplant, couldn't imagine what you were thinking.
Well, you know, we had even talked about it even before we had gotten to Temple. My pulmonologist in South Jersey was the one who had recommended that that might be the only way to go. So during the period we were waiting, we kind of discussed, you know, what we would do or would we go through with it, and everything was pretty positive all the way around. So it was really not a question of were we going to do it, but when was it going to happen?
And that's always a big question, Giselle, as his daughter. When they do this, and we talk about how many people are waiting on the list for an organ donation, were you thinking, oh, when is this going to happen?
No.
No?
No. We're a faith-based family, and we just believe that if this is what the Lord had planned for us, then it was going to be, and obviously it was.
That's true.
You were the one in the family, you were saying, this is going to happen. We're going to make this happen. I'm not going to accept what the doctors are saying initially, because first they wanted to send your dad home, right?
Actually, that was my sister.
Your sister?
Yes,
yeah.
My younger sister, and because I live in Norristown, my sister lived in Jersey at the time, so she was closer to my family, to my parents than I was. So, and she's got some of a medical background, so she was the one who did all the intercession with that portion. So she was like, when they tried to dismiss him, she said, I don't think so.
Yeah. So you went to see someone else, a different specialist?
Yes. She scoured Shore Memorial Hospital and found Dr. Adams, who then turned us on to thinking about transplant.
And it made such a difference. I want to get to Eileen and Charlie. Good morning to you. I read something that really just struck me. You said about your son Charles that he was called to do this.
Yes.
He gave his organs.
Yes, I believe he was. Charles was a wonderful child, kind, loving, giving, funny, and wonderful friend, and he grew up into a terrific man. He always thought that he was going to do great things, or he always wanted to do great things with his life. But my son died of a heroin overdose. So the disease of addiction kind of got in the way there a little bit, and kind of some of those goals we didn't think he was going to be able to.
At a too young age of 33.
33, he died. Yes.
And so you say it really is, it's a sad story, but it had a happy ending, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
3 people were still living today because of him, and
yeah,
that's great.
I think it's also the moment you talked about when the doctor came in and asked you, would you like to donate his organs? You said it was like a hand of God.
Yes, exactly. We were, Charles went to Paoli Hospital, and they were absolutely incredible.
Unbelievable.
For 3 days, they did everything in their power to save him, save his life. And then it got to a point where his brain function was not working. So they took us into a room and asked us if we would be willing to do the donor. And we all agreed at once, almost out of the same voice. We all said, yes, please. And we really believe we are a very spiritual family too. And this was the hand of God coming in and giving us a big hug and saying, this is what he's supposed to do. This is going to be his legacy. And it has become his legacy.
Wow. And so now you guys always have a big group at the Donor Dash. How many years have you been going?
This will be our 6th year. The first year we went was very soon. It was 6 months to the day after Charles had passed.
Wow.
So we had no idea what it was all about. We were still in a huge state of shock. And we got there and we had I would say about 35, 40 people. Most of them were very, very close friends and family that came. And just by word of mouth, it has grown. We have close to, this year will probably be over 200.
Wow.
And it's a wonderful day, and it's just terrific.
And we see it out there, Charles Legacy.
Yeah.
Isn't it such a special event? I've
Yeah.
been with you for the past 6
Yeah.
years now. I've been out
Yeah.
there, and it touches your heart. What would you tell anyone who's going back and forth, whether it's organ donation or participating in the Donor Dash?
Just do it.
Do it.
Just do it.
I would also say, if you want to be a donor, make sure you have the conversation with your family. It's so important that your family knows your wishes, because the family at the very end could say no, and they're going through such a terrible ordeal at that time and making hard decisions as to what is going to happen. It's a very, very difficult hour to be in, and if you've had that conversation, your family already knows that this is what you want to do, and what a better way to be a hero to someone.
And if you have that conversation, I mean, Joe,
Yes.
you're like a living reason why it's so important to donate. You really are.
And usually my question is, when I ask people about becoming donors, and they say, give you all sorts of reasons why, is if you needed an organ, would you accept one?
Yes.
And if you would accept one, why wouldn't you be a donor? And you would find out people's attitudes really change very quickly.
That is a good question.
It's great
Thank
to
you
have
so
all
much.
of you. It really does touches us. We invite you to join us, by the way, the 22nd Annual Donor Dash. It's Sunday, April 2nd at the Art Museum. You still have time to register for the 10K or the 5K run or the 3K walk, and we have set up a link on our website. It's fox29.com, and we are a proud partner with the Gift of Life for this event.
So thank you so much for sharing your stories. We
Thank you.
appreciate
Thank you for
having
inviting us.
We'll be looking for your teams then.
You're welcome.